Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. I just want to do a quick video here and discuss what I feel are the 5 most important things I learned during my first year out there on the trail. 5 being the least important down to my number 1 most important thing I feel that I learned. I also urge you to subscribe to my channel, Kindle Adventures, and I do my own little hiking vlogs. I hope you enjoy those as well. Anyways, without wasting anyone else's time, let's get right into it. Number 5, being over-ambitious. My first trip, I was definitely over-ambitious. I watched a lot of YouTube Appalachian Trail thru hikers do 15 to 20 mile days, and I tried to really see what that was like and get a feel for it. So I planned my first trip, Saturday, 22 miles, Sunday, 5 out.
There's a 36-mile loop trail behind me. Here's the map, and I'm going to be doing about hopefully 20 plus miles a day, depending on whether I can cut it a little shorter, but hopefully everything stays together and the sun will come out. Who knows?
At about 14 miles in and 2 candy bars, I realized just how difficult it is to do that high of a mileage. Now, mind you, I run about 4 miles a day, 5 days a week, or try to at least, depending upon my schedule. So I felt that being able to tackle this should be an easy feat. But like I said, about 14 miles into it, everything changed because I did not eat enough food. I got very fatigued and lethargic and began to dislike my hike, my last, few miles till I finished. Know your body and plan your hike accordingly. And if you're new to this, I also urge you to look and see where the scenery is. So if you're going to try this out for your first time, you might want to see something to keep you attentive towards your hobby. With that, I definitely recommend don't be over-ambitious for your first time. Number 4, the importance of trekking poles. I will not be going back to a trekker pole-less hiking style. I love them now, especially for creek crossings. I do not slip on said mossy rocks anymore. I have learned enough lessons from doing that.
I did just check the radar, and it looks like it's going to be just really spotty. Oh, jeez.
Also, the ascents and descents downhill are a lot easier on my joints, given the fact that I'm using trekking poles now. So, do I see myself going back to not using them? If I have an easier hike, maybe, but pretty much I'm stuck with trekking poles the rest of my hiking career. So yeah, I definitely recommend those. Go out and get them if you haven't tried them. They're definitely worth it. Number 3, balancing your pack weight. This is a biggie, guys. This is one of the bigger things that I learned, which is why it's number 3 on my list. When I got my pack, I was really happy, and when I was done parading around my house going, hey, I got a pack, and had my straps all correctly adjusted, I had finally got it out on the trail with all my belongings in it. Well, once this happened, I realized a pain on my right shoulder after a few miles in. And what I discovered was that when I packed my pack, I didn't balance my pack weight correctly. So what that means is I had a lot of my more extreme weight on one side, which was obviously the side that my shoulder was on, and I was experiencing that pain. And what it did was leave me confused for a minute because I had adjusted everything correctly, thinking, hey, you know what? This is going to be really comfortable. And it did feel good, but after a while, I had started feeling that. So definitely recommend that, guys. Balance your pack correctly before you go out on a trip. Number 2. Alright guys, we got down to number 2, which leads me to footwear. This was important because I had a war between trail runners and boots. Well, I'm a carpenter, so I figured using boots would work really well, given the fact that I work on, unsteady terrain, mud, water, snow, what have you, and I have a little bit of education on how to deal with that, especially with my work boots. Well, switching to trail runners, I didn't really want to risk wet feet, so what I did is I used my work boots on my first 27-mile journey, and they did work really well. They kept my feet dry, but what really killed me was the memory foam insoles I put inside of them. What that did is they ended up moving in my boot during the descents down hills, and they would bunch in my toe, and it made it really uncomfortable and ended up giving me a few blisters. So what that taught me was, depending on your hike, you can still wear boots, especially if you have a lot of river crossings and you're only going to go, I'd say, about 8 miles. I'd say boots should work pretty decent as far as keeping your feet dry. But if you're going to do a higher mileage hike or something with a lot of elevations, I definitely would go with trail runners because you're going to get a lot more comfort through that longevity of surface walking. So yeah, footwear, definitely a big one. Wanted to share that with you guys, which is why it's number 2 on my list. Moving along, down to number 1, and that is planning and navigating. This is super important, especially for someone like me because I do a lot of solo hiking, so I definitely don't want to get lost while I'm out there. Now first, what I do before I plan a trip is I will YouTube my location to find wherever it is that I want to go and the best scenic route to said area. And watch a video on it, see what the scenery is. And once I've done that, I'll obtain a map to the location that is that I want to visit and do a side-by-side of my map and then Google Earth. And this actually enables me to help find the real world version of what it is I'm looking for, like a trailhead I can get a street view. So it's pretty cool to be able to do that, and I urge you guys, especially if you're going solo, to use Google Earth. It helps a lot as far as navigation goes. And even if you're not going solo, you don't really want to get caught out in the middle of nowhere and have to carry your buddy if he rolls an ankle. So definitely something to think about. Also, blazes. I've been asked before by people I work with who don't normally hike, what's the purpose of blazes? Well, as far as navigating goes, that seemed pretty important. Blazes, well, let's put it this way. If it snows, or anything's on the ground and you can't see the trail, leaves, whatever, this helps you be able to follow the trail without getting lost, given the fact the ground's covered. Now, a couple weeks back, I went for a day hike and there was snow all over the ground. I didn't even get a mile in, and I found myself looking at like landmarkers, like a fallen down tree or a stump, trying to remember those to make my way back, only to realize I had to turn around because I just didn't want to risk getting lost with no food and water, especially out in the cold. Definitely a few things there. And also, when you see a double blaze, that's a switch and trail. You see a lot of those on switchbacks. So something else to know as far as planning and navigating. I thank you guys for watching my video. I also urge you to subscribe to my channel, Kindle Adventures, and we'll see you in the next one.